Hi everyone, my name is Rashid and I'm from Ace Language. A lot of you know me as the founder of Ace PT who teaches PT for ages. And today I have three very young professionals with me from Bangladesh. তারা হচ্ছেন অর্ণব কুন্ডু যিনি ব্যাচেলর অফ আইটি করেছেন ডিকিন ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে। অর্ণব ভাই, হাউ আর ইউ?
I'm fine, Rashid bhai. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Bhai, if I'm not wrong, you're currently working as network security engineer at Mars Incorporated, right?
That's correct.
Welcome to today's video, bhai. And we also
Thanks for
have
having me.
Asif bhai, also completed Bachelor of IT from Monash. Am I correct, Asif bhai?
Yeah, that's right.
And you are currently working as Senior Machine Learning Engineer at Fleet Space Technologies. Correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong.
that's the
It's
one.
You guys are very high-techy person, and I'm just a normal PT teacher. And Fardin bhai, how are you, bhai?
I'm good. How are you? Hey.
I'm fine, thank you. You completed your Bachelor of Property and Real Estate from Deakin University, Workforce and Data Performance Analyst হিসেবে currently RMIT তে আছেন, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right.
Welcome to today's show, all of you guys. Thank you for giving your time today. So আমরা আজকে যে বিষয়টা নিয়ে আলোচনা করব, first of all, obviously, um, is about your career and how you built up your career as Bangladeshi international students in here. কারণ অনেক বাংলাদেশি স্টুডেন্ট এখন আসছে, সবারই একটা জিজ্ঞাসা থাকে যে কোন কোর্সগুলো আমাদের পড়া উচিত, কোন কোর্সগুলো ক্যারিয়ারের জন্য ভালো, and all three of you mashallah are working at your designated, nominated and dream field, right? So I believe আপনাদের গাইডেন্স গুলো বাংলাদেশ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য ভালো হবে। এবং obviously our main focus for today's video will be the dream that you guys dreamt about your app sorted out, right? This is an app you built based on your sufferings that you suffered when you were an international student এবং আপনারা যখন নিজেরা নিজেদের পিআর এর ব্যাপারে স্ট্রাগল করছিলেন বা পিআর এর পাথওয়েটা জানতে চাচ্ছিলেন, ওই পেইন পয়েন্ট থেকে বানানো, if I'm not wrong, right? So this is to aid international students about their peer journey, right? So let's start a bit, bhai. If I can know about yourself a bit, right? If I can start with Arnab bhai.
Thanks, Rashid bhai. So, hi guys, I'm Arnob. আমি মেলবোর্ন আসছি. It's been like 7 years. 2018 সালে, as Rashid bhai said, I did my bachelor's from Deakin. I did bachelor of IT. I was always interested in tech and stuff. So, IT was the right thing for me. তো সেখান থেকে পাশ করার পরে I did bunch of stuff, and now I'm working at Mars Incorporated. I work there as a network security engineer, and it's been like close to 4 years now.
Wow, 4 years in your in Mars Incorporated now, right?
It's been 4
Wow,
years in
that's
Mars.
quite a long time at the
হ্যাঁ
same place. These days, আমরা যেটা দেখতে পাই যে এমপ্লয়িরা কুইকলি হপ করে, but you are actually staying put, right? That's a good example.
Yeah.
We can definitely talk about it in the future. And if I can go to Asif bhai now, Asif bhai, if you can please introduce yourself a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came to Australia in 2017 and I finished my uni in 2019. And then since then, I've been working in tech. And like Apnara Jamna Bolzilan job hopping, yeah, a classic example. I basically job hopped pretty much once a year until I got to a company called Sportsbet, where I stayed for a pretty long time. I stayed there for 3 years, and then I got tired of gambling, so I moved to this startup where we build technology where it helps companies to find critical minerals faster. And these are the critical minerals that make solar panels and renewable energy, stuff like that.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's me.
so you are the kind of people I warned about just with Arnab bhai, and now I've found you. Azhar, we're going to talk about that as well. There is obviously upside and downside of both. We're going to talk about that. Fardin bhai, it is up to you now to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Fardin. Thank you for having me again. আমি মেলবোর্ন এসেছি 2018-এ। I went to Deakin. I started as Bachelor of Commerce, but then just like everyone else, I got a little bit like confused if PR এর জন্য কি accounting এখনো the right option, you know. So I ended up choosing property and real estate because at that time valuation অনেক demand ছিল, like property valuation. But then আমার personally I've always liked finance. as a subject, so I decided to do double major. So basically, I had finance and property valuation as my two majors, and then yeah, I graduated from there and now work for RMIT University as a workforce data and performance analyst. So it's basically like a data analyst role, and I've been there for like 3 years.
Ah, perfect. So you are also like kind of like Arnav and Asif Bhai is the only only person with a bit of a job hopping. Now, obviously, international স্টুডেন্টদের একটা বড় প্রবলেম যেটা হয় যেটা ওরা ফেস করে ইটস আই উইল সে মোর দেন এবিলিটি ইটস ল্যাক অফ কনফিডেন্স যে আসলে আমি পড়ালেখা করছি will I get a decent job? Will I get a job relevant to my education and my career aspect? আপনাদের experience, obviously it's not easy. It can never be easy. It's not easy to get started in your own career even in Bangladesh, তাই না? আর অস্ট্রেলিয়া তো একটা ডিফারেন্ট কান্ট্রি, হিয়ার উই আর কামিং ফ্রম আ ডিফারেন্ট ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড, আ ডিফারেন্ট কালচারাল অ্যাসপেক্ট অ্যান্ড থট প্রসেস। আপনাদের কি মনে হয়, আপনারা সবাই আপনাদের প্রফেশনাল ফিল্ডে আছেন, রাইট? আইল গো ওয়ান বাই ওয়ান। অর্ণব ভাইয়ের কাছে যে প্রশ্নটা সেটা হচ্ছে কোন কোয়ালিটিগুলো আপনি মনে করেছেন যে আপনার এই ক্যারিয়ারটা স্টার্ট করার জন্য সহায়ক ছিল সবচেয়ে বেশি?
ডেফিনেটলি আপনি ফার্স্ট যেটা বললেন যে দ্য কনফিডেন্স ইজ অফ কোর্স ওয়ান অফ দ্য কি ফ্যাক্টরস, যে আপনার আসলে ইউ হ্যাভ টু নো যে হোয়াট ইউ ওয়ান্ট অ্যান্ড হোয়াট ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু ডু ইন লাইফ। And job hopping এর ব্যাপারে, in the first few years of my career, I also did a bit of job hopping. But then eventually when you find the right role, আপনার যখন মনে হবে যে না, you're happy in this role, you don't really need to hop anymore, right? You have the flexibility, you like the work, and that's pretty much it, right? But ওই রোলটা খুঁজে পাওয়ার জন্য you have to sort of work on yourself. You have to work on your soft skills, your like, technical skills. আমি যেরকম আইটিতে, so I need both of it, like, technical skill and soft skills. আরেকটা ব্যাপার আমি পার্সোনালি যেটা নোটিস করছি যে the people who are very closely tied to the university, দেখা গেছে ইউনিভার্সিটির সব ইভেন্ট গুলোতে গেছে, ক্লাস করছে ঠিক মতো, then they're like they have good relation with the teachers. These are the kind of people who actually ended up getting good roles. That's from my experience. And of course there's like so many communities in university that help you to sort of like land your first internship or like first role. So yeah, definitely first thing is knowing what you want in life, যে আমি এই ফিল্ডে জব করবো অথবা এই টাইপের জবগুলো করতে চাই, then sort of like build a network within that sector and eventually know the right people and you'll be fine.
Okay, so definitely you focused on not only technical and academic skill, but also on soft skill and as well as university engagement. According to you, university engagement did help you a lot, right?
Correct.
Asif bhai, what do you think is, are these, will you talk in the same manner? Like, are these the same thing that helped you, or is there anything else that you also like to add on top of what Arnav bhai said?
So I'll take a opposite stance on this. I actually did not take up any of the university career fairs or any systems like that. So at Monash, they do have a career office where they like review your resume, they tell you what's wrong with it, and basically they help you craft the resume. But I worked at one of the first jobs I worked at was at a firm that does applicant tracking system software. So basically, when you apply for a job, it goes through that firm's software. So when I
Okay.
worked there, I realized that that software actually does not check for a traditional skill set. For example, like if you're studying computer science, it's not checking like what languages you know. It's checking whether you actually used keywords from the job description. And
Okay.
that's what passes you on to the next step of the recruitment, which is the hiring manager recruitment.
Oh,
Sorry, the
so
hiring manager interview. So, so it's interesting, right? Like আপনার মনে হতে পারে যে আপনার,
very much.
yeah, if you get all the skills right, you think that you'll get through the interview, but like a lot of the time it's just keyword match. The way I got into the job market was also not through career fairs or networking. Monash's Bachelor of IT, as in like Faculty of Technology, ওদের একটা program আছে called IBL, Industry Based Learning. The OI program, it's a selective program. Like you need to get like a distinction average, and then you need to interview with like 50 companies over 2 days. It's like a speed dating round where you just like go from one booth to another. You talk to all the different companies, and they just ask you like for 5 minutes. They just ask you like, who are you? What do you want? Why are you talking to me? And in that process, You go through all the 50 interviews, and then the university places you into a company for 6 months. Every 6 months, the company pays you like a stipend. They call it a scholarship because basically company হচ্ছে pay করে না directly, university আপনাকে reimburse করে your tuition
Uh-huh.
fees. So that's a pretty unique program. I know that's something they do at Monash. I know that's something they do at Swinburne. So if you can place yourself in a university or a course that has a structured internship or placement, then you're pretty well set up right out of university. Otherwise, you have to hustle like Arnold did. So um,
He took a
Yeah, it's
chance.
either
He took a
like you
swing at
know
you.
people or you basically, like go through the interview process. Because I feel like,
yeah,
of course, like Asif Jera course said, that's definitely good. But if you know people, I think it also helps to some extent because like reference is always important in Australia.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. সো আই থিঙ্ক আমরা অনেক সময় শুনি বা বলি যে এআই হয়তো বা অনেক জব সেক্টরই নষ্ট করে দিবে, বাট এআই এর এই ইম্প্যাক্টটা বোধহয় আমরা দেখি নাই, যে এআই অলরেডি প্রি সিলেক্ট করে কিওয়ার্ড ম্যাচ করে ইজ গেটিং রিড অফ লট অফ রেজুমেস, রাইট? দিস ইজ এন ইম্প্যাক্ট অফ এআই. I mean, whether we accept it or not, AI is deciding whether my resume is good enough to go in front of the hiring manager. So this is
yeah,
quite different thing that we just learned. Obviously, we all knew that AI is used in sorting out the resumes. Otherwise, ধরেন একটা পজিশনের জন্য 50-100টা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন আসে, আমরা রাইট মাইন্ডে কখনোই চিন্তা করি না যে হায়ারিং ম্যানেজারই সবকিছু গো থ্রু করে, উই ডোন্ট. But the way you just said, obviously, is something for us to think about and something for us to know as well. যারা নতুন ভিউয়ারদের মধ্যে, যারা জাস্ট জব মার্কেটে হপ ইন করার চিন্তা করছি, বা যারা মাত্র গ্র্যাজুয়েশন শুরু করছি, চিন্তা করছে যে ক্যারিয়ার কোথায় যাবে, this is a very important thing Asif bhai just mentioned. Take a note of it, guys. This is a successful guy in his career. He is telling you from his own experience যে আপনাদের resume will be sorted out at the very first stage by AI based on the keywords. So learn how to write. This is a very important
yeah.
thing. Obviously, we have chat GPTs to write these days, but don't rely on it too much. Am I
Yeah,
making sense?
one more thing while we're still on this note.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, what happens is once you apply to a job, yes,
Mm-hmm.
the AI probably filters you out or in, but one way you can probably increase your reach is by actually finding the recruiter who posted the job and then
Mm-hmm.
messaging them directly on LinkedIn or over an email. It might not work 90% of the time, but there's a 10% chance that the recruiter sees your message specifically and they pass you through the AI filter because you actually had the incentive to send them a message saying, hey, look at my application.
So definitely, thank you for bringing it up. Obviously, at the end of the day, decision making is happening at the human end, তাই না? So as employer, they would like to see যে আসলে কে একটু বেশি
Proactive and all that, yeah.
প্রোঅ্যাক্টিভ, or কে বেশি চাচ্ছে জবটা, সবচেয়ে বেশি আমরা যদি বাংলায় বলতে চাই হচ্ছে কার চাহিদা বেশি, ঠিক আছে? সো দ্যাট ইজ সামথিং. থ্যাংক ইউ ফর ব্রিংিং ইট আপ, আসিফ ভাই. It's such a great insight to get at the very beginning of the video. Now I'll jump into Fardin Bhai. Your career trajectory is totally different than other two. Both of them are major from IT, eventually has gone into tech. You are currently at data analysis, but your education was property development and finance, if I'm not wrong, right?
That's correct.
So
Yes.
did your career trajectory or did your job search differ from the other two, or you went to the similar pattern or in different pattern?
I think I'm actually too different because my first job was where I used to work part-time as a student.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this venue called Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Center. So আমি ওখানে team lead and food and beverage হিসেবে কাজ করতাম. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the good things about working in a cafe is that you get to interact with everyone. When I say everyone,
Yes.
that's the CEO, that's the COO, that's the CFO, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, while I was making coffee, I used to like talk to everyone. And then one day, the CFO just asked me, "Oh, what do you study?" So I basically told them, "Oh, আমি তো finance হচ্ছে আমার one of the majors. I don't know what I'm gonna do once I graduate." And then she
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Just let me know once you graduate." Um,
Okay.
Graduation হইলো আমার তারপরের দিন I reached out to her. The next I got a job in her team. So
Wow.
I think this kind of points out what Orno was talking about, networking can be through your university. It can also be through wherever you work. It doesn't have to be like where how it worked out for me. কিন্তু let's say আপনি Coles বা Woolworths এ কাজ করতেছেন
জি।
and you get exposure to the managers, they can actually help you out with internships and stuff if they like you enough. So
হুম হুম হুম
অর্ণব যেরকম অনেক এক্সট্রা কারিকুলার অ্যাক্টিভিটিস করেছে, আমি আবার ওরকম কিছুই করিনি, জাস্ট লাইক আসিফ। আমি লিটারালি জাস্ট কাজ করতাম আর হচ্ছে পড়াশোনা, দ্যাটস ইট।
হুম
সো আই থিঙ্ক ফর মি আই গট আ লিটল বিট লাকি যে আমি যেই কাজে ছিলাম ওই কাজ থেকে আমি আমার ফার্স্ট ফুল টাইম রোল পাই। বাট ওইটার পর আফটার দ্যাট RMIT-তে আই জয়েন্ড অ্যাজ আ ফাইন্যান্স অফিসার, বাট
হুম
দেন there wasn't enough opportunity in finance, so আমার একটা like he's like a senior manager, তো ওনার সাথে আমার বেশ ভালো সম্পর্ক ছিল because of interactions through um, various work that we used to do for them. And then one day he was like, look, আমার একটা opening আসবে soon, if you're interested,
হুম
learn from YouTube if you want, interview for it, if you're good enough we're gonna hire you. That's kind of how I got into data analysis. I mean literally data
হুম
analysis সবকিছু ইউটিউব থেকে শেখা।
So that's another example of, I think, আপনি networking বলছেন, this is also part of soft skill Arnab bhai was mentioning, and obviously communication skill comes above and beyond everything that my experience in Australia, like আপনি এখন যেটা বললেন, আপনি data analysis সম্পর্কে কিছুই জানতেন না, right? But you threw yourself into learning it, but that also didn't come out of the blue because you had a good communication skill, right? You were able to communicate with someone who can show you the way. So this is something a lot of students don't understand, Jay. Rather than, I mean, obviously you need a good degree, that's a different thing. Good degree, what it does is it makes you more confident that, yeah, I know what I have to know. But apart from that, communication skill plays a very key role in Australia, especially because আমি দেখেছি যে আমরা অনেক ভালো ভালো স্টুডেন্ট ভালো জায়গা থেকে পড়ছি, বাট উই আর নট গুড এট কমিউনিকেটিং। হ্যাঁ, অনেকেই বলে ভাই আমি তো ইন্ট্রোভার্ট, বাট আই ডোন্ট থিঙ্ক ইন্ট্রোভার্ট হ্যাজ এনিথিং টু ডু উইথ good communication. I mean, you can be introvert, still a good communicator, right? Now একটা ডিফারেন্ট পার্সপেক্টিভ আমি যেতে চাচ্ছি, সেটা হচ্ছে অনেক সময় আমরা বাংলাদেশ থেকে এরকম স্টুডেন্টদের কোয়েরি পাই, বা অনেক সময় বাংলাদেশের স্টুডেন্টরা আমাদের কাছে জিজ্ঞেস করে যেটা, সেটা হচ্ছে ভাই ইংলিশ তো আসলে খুব বেশি একটা ভালো না। I mean, how can I really shine in Australia? Now, obviously, এটা আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডেবল যে সবার ইংলিশ একই লেভেলে থাকে না। দ্যাটস ওকে। I mean, I'm from বাংলা মিডিয়াম, আমার ইংলিশ অত সুপার স্পেশাল না, বাট আম গেটিং বাই। ওকে, সো আপনাদের কাছে কি মনে হয়েছে যে ইংলিশের ব্যাপারে যে স্টুডেন্টরা খুবই কনফিউজ থাকে যে আমার গ্রামার ভালো না, আমি কথা বললে কি হবে, হ্যাঁ, বা আমার এইটা ভালো না, আমার ওইটা ভালো না, হ্যাজ ইট এভার ফেল্ট উইদিন ইউর সেলফ যে আসলে এটা একটা বড় ব্যারিয়ার হয়ে দাঁড়াচ্ছে, বা আসলে এটার পিছনেও আমাদের সময় দেওয়া উচিত, ইমপ্রুভ করা উচিত ইংলিশটা? হোয়াট ইফ আই আস্ক ইউ দ্যাট কোয়েশ্চেন, অর্ণব ভাই?
হ্যাঁ, ডেফিনেটলি। সো আপনার মতো রাশেদ ভাই, আই এম অলসো ফ্রম এ বেঙ্গলি মিডিয়াম ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড। আমার কাছে প্রথম যখন অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে আসছি, ডেফিনেটলি লাইক I wouldn't say I was struggling a lot, but then definitely it's a new country, it's a new sort of like, environment. সবাই ইংলিশে কথা বলছে, and I was like, a little bit, yeah, confused. And I think eventually you just have to try hard enough, and you have to like sort of, like teach yourself a new skill. And I was very happy to sort of, like learn যে অন্যরা যারা ভালো মতো সুন্দর করে কথা বলতে পারে, how they're speaking. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna learn from them, like what they're doing, how they're doing it. Definitely, if you try hard enough, if you try for like long enough, if you're consistent, you're definitely gonna get it at some point. So, but I see where you're coming from. I see a lot of people আমার কাছে অনেকে এসে বলে যে, ও আমি তো বাংলা মিডিয়ামের, প্রবলি আমি যখন খাপ খাওয়াতে পারবো না, আমি হয়তো কোনো জব পাবো না, because I don't really communicate that well in English. But ito,
Asif bhai, if you want to add something up, how if even if a student is not very good at English, does he really have to worry that his life is ruined, or there is a good chance in Australia to improve actually?
Okay, like I don't think I'm a good example for this problem because I come from an English medium school, so I spoke English all of my life. So I did not feel that cultural shock when I came to Australia. But our general opinion about anything where you feel like you need some growth, it's just 1% every day, right? Like you just improve 1% every day if it matters enough to you. That can be English, it can be like studying coding, it can be increasing your deadlift to 100 kilograms, whatever. Like it's just showing up every day. Having confidence comes after the fact. I feel like just having the ability, the belief in yourself that you can show up, even if you suck on day one, maybe on day two, you'll be a bit better than day one. It just happens. Like you will progress and you will improve over time. এটাই আমার general advice on this specific topic.
থ্যাংক ইউ ভাই, এটা আপনি একটা খুব ভালো কথা বলছেন যে aim 1% in a day, like, if I can be even better than last day 1%, that's also a good start, right? আমরা সবাই মনে করি কি ওভারনাইট আমার ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট করে ফেলতে হবে, বাট অ্যাকচুয়ালি নট দ্য কেস। হোয়াট অ্যাবাউট ইউ ফারদিন ভাই, আপনিও কি ইংলিশ মিডিয়াম ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে ছিলেন নাকি ইউ ফ্রম বাংলা মিডিয়াম ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড?
So just like everything else, I'm very different from them in this case as well.
ওকে, লেটস
আমি
লিসেন
হচ্ছে
টু ইউ।
অনেক মিক্সড ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড। আমি
আচ্ছা
এসএসসি দিয়েছি। এসএসসির পর আই স্টার্টেড এইচএসসি, বাট আমার ফ্যামিলি বিজনেসের কারণে আমরা 1 বছর জন্য নিউজিল্যান্ডে মুভ করি। সো আই অলসো ডিড
আচ্ছা
1 year of high school in New Zealand, and
ওকে
then somehow that didn't extend as long as we thought it would. So I had to go back to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh back করার পর, because of the exposure to New Zealand curriculum, I didn't want to go back to Bangla medium again. আমি আবার ওই সৃজনশীল আমি আর চাইতে যাইনি। So I kind of begged my dad যে I want to do A levels, and then even that was a little bit like kind of I did struggle a little bit because অনেক বাংলাদেশি টিচারদের কাছে আমি রিচ আউট করি যারা এ লেভেলস এর, কারণ
জি
আমি স্কুলে যেতে চাইনি, আমি প্রাইভেট এ লেভেলস দিতে চেয়েছি। Um, অনেকে বলেছে আমাকে যে ও এসএসসি দিয়ে সব তোমাকে দিয়ে এ লেভেল হবে না, খামাখা ডোন্ট ওয়েস্ট ইওর মানি অ্যান্ড টাইম। বাট দেন দেয়ার ওয়াজ দিস ওয়ান টিচার, অ্যাকাউন্ট টিচার, আমি নাম বলবো না ফর obvious reasons. I want to keep him, like I want to protect his privacy basically. উনি আমাকে বলছে দেখো, anyone can do anything, so if you believe that you can do it, go for it. Like I'll make sure যে, so I needed 3 subjects, so he was obviously accounting, and then he was like I'll make sure the other 2 subjects, whatever you choose, I'll make sure that they um, admit you basically. And then that's how I started. If anything, I finished my A levels in 1 year and 4 months instead of 2 years. Got all A's. I think I'm a very good example. So just because you're from Bangla medium, that doesn't mean that you can't improve your English. আমি নিউজিল্যান্ডে যাওয়ার আগে জীবনেও ইংলিশে কোনো কথাও বলি নাই। আমার ফার্স্ট ডে ইন স্কুল, দ্য হোল ডে আমি কথা বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম কিন্তু মুখ থেকে কোনো কথা বার হইতেছিল না।
জি
I think it took me 2 or 3 days to start talking in the class, and everyone at first thought like এই ছেলের সমস্যা কি, কোনো কথা বলা লাগে। Like I used to just stand up when they called my name, and I'll just like look around and just sit down. It was very awkward, but that's life, right? You do hard things, and then, as Asif said, you improve a little bit every day, and then eventually you're going to be really good at whatever you're trying to be good at.
ভেরি গুড, আপনারটা আসলে অ্যাকচুয়ালি ভেরি গুড এক্সাম্পল। আপনি যে কালচার শকটা ফেস করছেন, লাইক ফ্রম আস বাংলা মিডিয়াম স্কুল স্টুডেন্টস, উই ফেস দ্যাট, but the fact is we face it when we are a bit older, like after HSC. You faced it right after SSC, so I can only imagine how hard it must have been for you, because at that tender age any and every change can be shocking, right? And you went through that big of a change. Now that we got got to know each of you, all of your experiences, see, this is amazing. You three are very good friends, right? I mean, when I talk to Orno Bao, we have 2 good friends and this and that. You three are very good friends, but how different your journey has been so far. All of your experience has been so different. One is saying, I've been very attentive to the university, went to every university events and this and that. Another one is saying, I didn't even go there, I didn't bother going. Another is saying, I was working. Wherever I was working with passion and I got something, right? Which is very good idea of what Australia is at the end of the day. We all have different pathways, we all have different thoughts, cultural backgrounds and stuff, but we can still get the opportunity that Australia is actually giving us at the moment. Now, let's come to the main event, the event that we're actually doing this podcast for. That is, let's talk about Sorted Out. Who amongst you want to talk about what is Sorted Out?
I'll start with a quick intro.
Yeah, please.
So with Sorted Out, I don't know about you, Fardin, but the second I got my residency and my citizenship, I did not care about the immigration process. I just wanted to move on from it because it was a very traumatizing part of my life. So when I finished university, I was told by immigration agents and the Department of Home Affairs website that the way to get PR is your independent, skilled visa or your state-sponsored visa. And I was following the right pathway. I did everything right. I did my English tests. I got high results. I The thing I struggled with the most was the NAATI exam because unlike you guys, I struggle with Bangla, so I have the opposite problem. So I did all of that and I maximized my points, and COVID happened, right? So the entire migration process was brought to a halt. And luckily at that time, the company I was working for, they wanted to sponsor my visa. So that's what bought me 4 more years. And then within those 4 years, I had, like, very luckily, the Victoria State sponsorship called me, and that's how I got into the migration program, basically. But that unexpected things happen is my point. I was meant to get my PR in 2021, but I got it at 2023. And between 2021 and 2023, I thought I have to go back home. So that was a very, very hard time in my life. And the only thing I did after getting my PR was write an article on my blog about how shitty the process was. And the most surprising part was where my English results expire every 3 years. Very absurd that your ability to speak English resets every 3 years. This is crazy. This just doesn't make sense to me. Um, so in 2023, I fully moved on from the migration process because I was completely traumatized by it. And then very recently, my youngest brother, who wants to come to Australia, he started asking me questions. And that's when I thought, okay, there seems to be a market opportunity here because everyone asks me this question, like, how did I do it? And everyone has different processes, but basically the information is all there. It's just scattered all over the place. The data is there, the pathway you take is there, everything is there. But you really have to put in the work to consolidate all of that, digest all of that, and actually follow it step by step. And even if you do, you might still not get it because the goalpost always keeps changing. So back in 2020, about 6 years ago, that was the first time I wanted to build SortedOut. I was going to call it IMIQ. I don't know where that name came from, but back then coding an entire application was very hard. It was a very slow, long process. So after trying it for 6, 7 months, I gave up because it's a lot of work and I have a day job and it was just getting too hard. But in 2026, it's a lot easier to go from idea to product. So that's why, like, we were able to, like, we had this idea like 3 months ago, and 3 months later we have a very stable application that went from 0 to 100 just by using AI tools. So that's the background of Sorted Out. Yeah, I'll let you guys speak.
Yep. So I got the background, obviously coming from your treacherous journey towards Australian permanent residency and citizenship. I'm sure almost every one of us has this kind of story. অস্ট্রেলিয়ান পিআর বা সিটিজেনশিপ যেটা আমরা বলি, যেটা সব স্টুডেন্টদের একটা কোয়েরি থাকে, কোনোটাই ইজ নট এন ইজি জার্নি. এভরিওয়ানস জার্নি ইজ ডিফারেন্ট অ্যান্ড এভরিওয়ানস জার্নি ইজ ভেরি বিগ স্টোরি, রাইট? সো থ্যাংক ইউ আসিফ ভাই আমাদেরকে ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা দেওয়ার জন্য. সো অর্ণব ভাই যদি আমাদেরকে একটু ফোকাস করে বলতেন যে আসলে আসিফ ভাই যেটা বলেন একটা পেইন পয়েন্ট থেকে আসা, যে সব ডেটা সবখানে স্ক্যাটার্ড, right? And
Yeah.
what actually are you trying to consolidate here? So obviously there are lots of data, there are lots of pathways, right? What actually are you trying to consolidate?
So definitely ধরেন আমি আমার একটা এক্সাম্পল দিয়ে বলতে পারি আমি যেরকম ব্যাচেলর অফ
Hmm.
আইটি করছি so I had so many options I can so based from my work I can either get my skill assessment in software engineering I can get like IT support I can get like cybersecurity I can get like database administrator and I was like যে কোনটা থেকে করলে আমার actually PR পাইতে সুবিধা হবে how do I know that, right? So what you can do, you can go to agents, you can like have multiple conversations, but this actually is pretty like costly. So আমি যেটা ভেবে দেখলাম যে অল দিস ইনফরমেশন আপনি ইনফরমেশন গুলো অনলাইন অলরেডি পাচ্ছেন বাট সেখান থেকে আপনার যে ইনসাইটটা সেটা জেনারেট করা মাঝে মধ্যে ইট কুড বি লিটল বিট ডিফিকাল্ট, রাইট? So what we are trying to
Yes.
solve here is like we have the data যেটা already online available and we have our app, so basically doing the analysis and আমরা ওটার উপর ভিত্তি করে বলতে পারতেছি যে হয়তো আপনি যদি এইখান থেকে স্কিল অ্যাসেসমেন্টটা করেন অথবা হয়তো আপনি যদি এইটা পড়েন তাহলে there is a better chance you might get it. by no means we are migration agents, so we don't really give out any migration advice, but it's just data driven analysis at this point. So আমাদের
So
পেন পয়েন্টটা হচ্ছে
basically,
যে আমি যেগুলা ফেস করছি, আমি জানতাম না কি পড়তে হবে, তারপরে কিভাবে স্কিল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট করতে হবে, কত বছরের চাকরি এক্সপিরিয়েন্স লাগবে, and all that stuff. So we are just trying to solve it here through this app.
so basically বলা যাচ্ছে ইমিগ্রেশন ওয়ার্ল্ডের প্যালেন্টিয়ার। So, Fardin bhai, apnar entry, like I said, in this whole spectrum is quite different, right? Because
Hmm.
obviously these two are coming from tech background, right? And
Right.
they are bringing their coding, they're bringing their this and that in this whole mix up, right? আপনার আপনার ইনপুটটা যদি দেন কেন আপনি এটার সাথে জড়িত হলেন বা what you are actually bringing to the table along with these two tech guys.
Well, in general, I think I'm very entrepreneur minded. My first business was when I was 12 years old. Bangladeshi, আমি চায়না থেকে অনেক কিছু import করতাম through this বড় ভাই of mine, and then yeah, that used to be really good. So the reason I joined is when Asif and Arnav were talking about it, I was like, yeah, that's something I want to work. I want to work with you guys if that's okay with you guys. Um, what I contribute right now is I'm kind of a little bit project manager. I do a little bit of social media. I come up with some of the ideas that I check with them that if that is something that will work for the app and it's like future state, I guess. So you could say a lot of my work is kind of like product management and project management kind of work. So I'm not as technical as both of these guys, obviously, but like I'm trying my best to, I guess, contribute in a way. I think there's always something you can contribute, even if you're not
Definitely,
the most
definitely.
technical person.
Look, at the end of the day, money talks.
Yeah,
And if the money guys are not there in the business, they can be the most techy person in the world, but balance sheet needs to balance at the end of the day, right? So that's obviously we understand that part. Now, as you said, you are the kind of like the product guy, like product manager or project management. That's what you are doing. Would you like to go through your product? Like, do you want to give any demo or sort it out?
yeah, absolutely. It would be my pleasure. Just give me 1 second. I'll start
Sure.
sharing the screen. All right, just let me know once you guys can see it.
Can do.
Yep.
Perfect. So for anyone watching this right now, this is our app. It's called Sorted Out. The URL is sortedout.app. I would highly encourage you guys to check it out if you have the time. So this is basically how it looks on the home page itself. So it kind of tells you where do you stand in the PR race. And then if you scroll down, it gives you your points. So because I did do a report before, it's giving me like 95 points right now, and it's telling me that I'm an elite applicant. And then it also shows you your roadmap যে কিভাবে আপনি আপনার পয়েন্ট আরো বাড়াতে পারবেন. And then if you scroll down, you have the data as well of the recent invitation rounds, যে কয়টা invitation এসেছে, কত পয়েন্ট এসেছে, things like that. There's what if calculator যে আপনার এখন এত পয়েন্ট, কিন্তু আপনি যদি ইংলিশটা সুপিরিয়রলি ইংলিশ হয় instead of just IELTS 7, তাহলে আপনার কত পয়েন্ট হবে. So you can just like look into what if scenarios as well. And then this is one of the coolest features here. So basically এটা আপনাকে দেখাবে যে কোন অকুপেশন এখন সবচেয়ে বেশি মানুষ ওয়েট করতেছে. সো ফর এক্সাম্পল এখন আমরা যে ভিউ আছে এখানে দেখাচ্ছে টপ 10 ভিউ ফর 189. সো 189 এ কত অ্যাপ্লিকেন্ট আপাতত ওয়েট করছে. আপনি যদি এটি ইনভাইটেড দেন তাহলে দেখায় যে কতজন মানুষ ইনভিটেশন
Invitation
পেয়েছে
page.
রিসেন্টলি. হ্যাঁ. সো as a lot of migration, আপনি যদি অনেক মাইগ্রেশন এজেন্সির কাছে যান, ওনারা বলবে আপনাকে কুকারি অর শেফ হওয়ার জন্য, which is a very, as you can see, there's 11,000 people waiting.
11,000 applicants. Wow.
Yeah, but then if you look at invited, chef has been invited only 21 people. So
Oh,
এই কারণে one of the good, like one of the things I always tell people যে I get it, PR is very important, but please focus on your career first, because
that's
at,
right.
as Asif said, goalpost keeps changing. আপনি যখন স্টার্ট করবেন পড়াশোনা, শেফ মনে হয় না থাকবে, আর যেটা আপনি স্টার্ট করছেন ওটা থাকবে নাকি জানি না, কিন্তু if you study something that you actually like, at the very worst you will still have a career that you're going to enjoy. Worst case you go back, but then আপনি কোনো না কোনো অপশন হবে. There's like I know so many friends যারা ব্যাক করেছে কিন্তু তারপর they eventually move to a different country. with their degree as a skilled worker. So I don't think that's the end of the world. End of the world if what you studied is not in the PR list. But yeah, focus on your studies, please. Okay, so that's pretty much the first page. What I'll do is I'll show you how
Sorry,
the whole app works. Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
Fardin. Before you go on, like at the very bottom of the page,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you keep going some more,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So you see how like we have that contact support or report an issue button at the very bottom. So if you click on that,
any of them?
yeah, either of those, yeah. So see, the thing is like we added this form because we wanted people to tell us what the next thing we should build should be. Like the current state of the application is what we thought would be useful to people, but
Mm-hmm.
for all we know, there could be hundreds of other things that might be better value. So if anyone has any ideas, like feel free to use this box to give us any suggestions. We're always listening. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Asif bhai, for bringing it up. Now, ফারদিন ভাই, আমি শিওর না আপনি এরপরে কি করার আসলে কথা বলছেন। আমি যেটা জানতে চাচ্ছিলাম
Mm-hmm.
ফ্রম মাই পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ, এটা যদি পসিবল হয় দেখানো যে একটা পার্টিকুলার অকুপেশনকে চুজ করে কিভাবে আমরা পয়েন্টগুলো ক্যালকুলেশন করতে পারি। হ্যাঁ,
That's right.
আফটার অল আমি একটু মেনশন করি এই জিনিসটা, দিস ইজ নট এ লিগ্যাল অ্যাডভাইস। আমি প্রিটি শিওর যে আপনারাও লিগ্যাল অ্যাডভাইস দেওয়ার জন্য এটা বানাননি, বিকজ
That's right.
none of us are licensed to do that. This is more of from a data point of view, যে ভাই
Mm-hmm.
আমি এটা করলে কত পেতে পারি, ওইটা করলে কত পেতে পারি। This is not a legal advice from any one of us, of the participants in
Absolutely.
this video, right? This is just an app. It is just doing its job. It's an app which has a job of adding points up. This is available information at immigration website, but in different pages. All this is doing at the moment is collecting all of them into one singular location, if I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
right.
We're providing transparency into this very complicated process, but none of this is migration advice.
Absolutely,
আরেকটা ব্যাপার যেটা
absolutely. So,
রাশেদ ভাই, সেটা হচ্ছে যে
জি,
আপনি ওই ইনফরমেশন গুলো ডেফিনেটলি অনলাইনে পাবেন, বাট জাস্ট বিকজ দে আর সো স্ক্যাটার্ড সামটাইমস রিয়েলি ডিফিকাল্ট টু লাইক সর্ট অফ কোরিলেট বিটুইন দেম। সো
yeah,
আমাদের অ্যাপটা
yeah,
থেকে একটা যেটা হয় যে আপনি ইনফরমেশন গুলো কোরিলেট করতে পারতেছেন, যে ধরেন আপনি কথায়
জি,
কথা শেফ নিয়ে পড়ছেন, আপনি দেখতে পারতেছেন যে শেফের থেকে কতজন অ্যাপ্লাই করছে, সাথে সাথে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন যে কতজন ইনভাইট পাইছে। সো এই টাইপের ডেটাগুলো
জি,
অ্যাকচুয়ালি আপনাকে হেল্প করবে ভাবতে যে আপনি আগামীতে যদি আপনার ছোট ভাই, যেরকম আসিফের বললো যে ছোট ভাই পড়তে আসে, আই গেট like hundreds of
জি,
questions like every other month যে কি পড়বো, this kind of information you can actually see from the app, and এইগুলো আর কি আপনার অনলাইনের থেকে খুঁজে বের করা একটু ডিফিকাল্ট।
definitely, definitely. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. যখন আমরাও ধরেন আমাদের কাছে অনেক স্টুডেন্ট জানতে চায়, আমরা তো আর ইমিগ্রেশন অ্যাডভাইস দিই না, যেহেতু আমরা রেজিস্টার্ড মাইগ্রেশন এজেন্ট না। আমি পিটি পড়াই, অনেক স্টুডেন্ট আমার কাছে জানতে চায়, আমি তাদেরকে ইমিগ্রেশনের ওয়েবসাইট রেফার করে দিই, ভাই এখান থেকে দেখানো, অ্যান্ড দেন দে কাম ব্যাক টু মি উইথ কনফিউশন, ভাই ওইখানে এটা কি পাইলাম, আবার ওইখানে ওইটা, আবার ওইখানে ওইটা, এইখানে এটা বলা আছে, ওইখানে ওইটা বলা আছে। আম লাইক, দিস ইজ ওয়াই ইউ অ্যাকচুয়ালি পে দ্যাট মাচ টু মাইগ্রেশন এজেন্টস টু ইন্টারপ্রেট এভরিথিং অ্যান্ড টু শো ইউ ওয়ের দ্য ডেটা ক্যান বি শুড বি এক্সট্রাপোলেটেড ফ্রম, রাইট? নাও যেটা আমি বলছিলাম, ফারদিন ভাই, যদি আপনি কোনো একটা ইমাজিনারি প্রোফাইলকে ধরে আমাদেরকে একটু ক্যালকুলেট করে দেখাতেন, এবং দেখাতেন আসলে আপনার অ্যাপটা কিভাবে তাকে ডিসিশন মেকিং এ সাহায্য করে, রাইট? আফটার অল দিস ইজ দ্য জব অফ দ্য ডেটা অ্যানালিস্ট। আমরা ডেটা
Absolutely.
অ্যানালিসিস করি যে কিভাবে, ফর এক্সাম্পল আমি হতে চাই ধরেন মার্কেটিং এক্সপার্ট, রাইট,
Mm-hmm.
or marketing manager. What is my possibility? What is the chances of under which category can I get invitation, or at all
Absolutely.
invitation?
Why not check that ourselves, right? So
Yeah,
let's get
sure, sure.
started. What I'll do is I'll just do it in the most simplest way. Let's assume that we're already in Australia. So
Okay.
let's choose that.
So before Ferdinand
Let's
start, I'm
decide.
going to quickly say something. So for this example, we are already assuming that we're living in Australia, right? But then there
Yeah.
could be also like examples যে যারা দেশের বাইরে আছে, for them there's like options for I'm overseas, যে স্টুডেন্ট
That's
তাদের জন্য I'm student, যারা গ্রাজুয়েট তাদের জন্য গ্রাজুয়েট, আপনি যে অলরেডি জব থাকে
জি।
তাদের জন্য আপনি হচ্ছে পাচ্ছেন স্কিলস প্রফেশনাল।
So thank you for bringing it up. So your app is kind of like really granulated based
Yeah.
on the situation. That's good.
That's right. So it has basically different customer journeys based on where you're standing right now.
Sure, sure.
But if we don't cover your situation yet, just let us know and we will do that.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. So we have lots of job for Asif Bhai is coming. Maybe maybe after we can we broadcast it, then we'll understand.
All right, so let's start again. So
Yep.
I'm already in Australia. I'm a student or graduate. It's gonna ask you which state you're in. So because we are from Victoria, we're gonna choose Victoria. আপনি আপনার
Mm-hmm.
বয়স দিতে পারবেন. So for example, let's say you're 26. So it
Mm-hmm.
also gives you that it is the sweet spot because 25 to 32 তে আপনি সবচেয়ে বেশি points পাবেন আপনার বয়সের জন্য. So it kind
জি,
of mentions that as well. Let's continue. And then আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবে আপনার education background, যে আপনি কি নিয়ে পড়াশোনা করছেন. So for example, in this scenario, let's assume যে আমরা masters করছি. So masters, and then university, I'll just put Deakin because আমি Deakin এ গিয়েছি. Let's
জি,
choose Deakin University. So আপনি ক্যাম্পাসও চুজ করতে পারবেন because Deakin has a few regional campuses as well. You have
that's
those
right.
three options as well, and for regional you get 5 points. আমি Burwood এ পড়াশোনা করেছি, so I'll just choose Burwood for this one. Okay, so we said marketing, so let's choose marketing. And then it kind of gives you like a pointer যে আপনি যদি STEM নিয়ে পড়াশোনা করেন তাহলে আপনি আরো 10 পয়েন্ট পাবেন. So that it kind of helps you with, let's say আপনি যদি নতুন কোনো স্টুডেন্ট and আপনি মার্কেটিং নিয়ে পড়াশোনা করতে চেয়েছিলেন, it kind of
জি,
gives you studying what will give you more points. Again, not a
Yep.
migration or any kind of
just general information. So
exactly, we're just
আমি
giving
এখানে
you
একটু
general information.
একটু ক্ল্যারিফাই করি। সো আমরা
Mhm.
যারাই অস্ট্রেলিয়া পড়তে আসতে চাই, অনেকে আমাদেরকে জিজ্ঞেস করে যে ভাই আমি তো পিটি করতেছি, এখন আমি যদি রিজিওনালে যাই হোয়াট উইল হ্যাপেন। সো আমরা দেখতে পারি যে সেম ইউনিভার্সিটি লাইক ডেকিন ইজ এ গ্রেট ইউনিভার্সিটি, ডেকিনেরই কিন্তু সিটি ক্যাম্পাসও আছে, regional campus watch. If we study in regional campus, generally what happens is student gets 5 extra points. And one more thing I have to mention here is when it comes to masters, it should be masters by research in STEM. It's written there, but I'm not sure whether they can see it. So masters in research in a STEM sector.
That's
ঠিক
right.
আছে? Yeah.
All right, let's continue. Okay, so এখানে আপনি আপনার expected graduation date দিবেন. So let's assume we're gonna graduate next year, 2027. And let's continue. All right, এখানে আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবে আপনার English proficiency কি. Let's assume because I'm a student, I'm probably not superior, I'm probably proficient. So let's say proficient, continue. And then আপনার partner status. So we'll just assume I'm just a single guy. You can choose your state nomination. Because you're a student, you obviously don't know whether 190 or 491 applies to you. You don't have enough information, so you can just keep it empty for now.
Sorry, quickly cutting in. Oh, no, we missed that opportunity. So like there was a little, if you go back, can you go back?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I did. Yeah,
So if you go back to that state nomination form,
yeah,
you'll see there's like a little AI sparkle
yeah.
that explains to you what state nomination means.
I think next page. After that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you just click that, it just tells you real quick, like, what does
Okay.
partner status mean? What does it, like, why is it giving you more points? What the different state nominations are.
Makes sense now. Yeah.
So
Now
these are
it's
the
more
kind of
clear
stuff
to
we are.
students.
These are the kind of stuff Rashid bhai we're trying to make easier for students because আমি যখন apply করছি I didn't really know যে okay what does it mean by no nomination, what does it mean by plus 5 point for 190, why am I getting plus 5
Yep.
points, right? So stuff like this you can
Yes.
just click here, you can see যে কেন add হচ্ছে, like the explanation and all that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, it's a good thing to show. I mean, jara viewer আছে, they are the techie guys and they are incorporating a lot of AI in it. So if you don't know what it is, the AI sign is there. You can just click on it and know what it is, right? And what is a partner has been defined. And আমরা ফারদিন ভাইয়ের আক্ষেপ already শুনছি যে উনি single. So
Just putting it out there.
maybe, yeah, maybe if I mean very eligible bachelor. So yeah, and 70 points, right? So
That's right.
what is that -5 at the bottom, and what are the steps it's showing me that I can get to get 30 more points?
So the points ticker is basically telling Jay you're gonna lose 5 points in 6 years because of the
Okay.
age we've put.
Uh-huh.
and on your
Okay.
roadmap on the right side আপনাকে দেখাচ্ছে যে এই তিনটা স্টেপ নিলে আপনি আরো 30 পয়েন্টস পেতে পারেন, which is like
আচ্ছা।
considering regional domination, আপনার ইংলিশ বেটার করলে আপনি আরো 10 পাবেন, and নাটি
হুম।
করলে আরো 5 পাবেন, and then
আচ্ছা।
just a little below that you get the latest cutoff and আপনার পয়েন্ট কত. Now
আচ্ছা।
one of the good things about this is you can also get a personalized report created just for you. So
হুম।
what I'll do is I'll create one of them as well. I'll just quickly log in. Reportটার জন্য you have to log in. You can just, if you have a Gmail account, you can just click on login using Gmail and it's
হুম।
going to quickly add you. Perfect. So now this is all ready. I'll just update my profile again just to make sure the occupation is correct. So it doesn't select occupation if you are a student. That's because just because you studied marketing doesn't mean you will go for marketing. So you can select your
Yeah.
own occupation. Let's
Sure.
say
Sure.
you're still going to be a marketing manager. Let's select this one.
Yep.
Oops. Okay. Education masters. So আপনি আপনার প্রোফাইল যখন আবার আপডেট করবেন তখন আপনি আরো কিছু ইনফরমেশন অ্যাড করতে পারবেন if you're a student.
আচ্ছা।
So
আচ্ছা।
for
আচ্ছা।
example, just because আপনি এখানে অস্ট্রেলিয়া এসেছেন doesn't mean you don't have any experience in Bangladesh. You could be someone যে বাংলাদেশে at least 3 বছর কাজ করেছেন, and that actually adds up as well, right? So let's
জি।
say আমার 3 বছর less than 3 years experience আছে বা 3 থেকে 4 বছর, তাহলে আপনি 5 points পাবেন. আপাতত আমার কোনো অস্ট্রেলিয়ান এক্সপিরিয়েন্স নাই, so let's just
জি।
put that as less than 1. Studied in Australia. আপনি আবার এডিট করতে পারবেন আপনি যদি কোনো কিছু মিস
জি।
করে থাকেন. Okay, let's make sure everything is right here. Okay, let's save it. All right, now once that is done, before we move to Strategy Hub, let's go through the checklist as well. So checklist আপনি এখানে কোন step আপনার জন্য দরকার for your PR path, right? So phase 1 basically আপনাকে foundation গুলা দেখাচ্ছে, which is like lodge,
হুম।
um, the assessment skill, and then PT exam এর জন্য আপনার বসতে হবে, police clearance,
হুম।
health exam. So it's just the basic things. এগুলা it helps you so much যদি একটা পেজে আপনি সবকিছু পান, because otherwise আপনাকে সবকিছু ইমিগ্রেশনের ওয়েবসাইটে বা অন্য কোনো ফেসবুক গ্রুপে জিজ্ঞেস করতে হবে যে what should I do, right? So what we are
জি।
all trying to do is consolidate everything in just one single place, just so you don't have to um, go and like spend so much time to find everything.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the strategy hub now. That's the report. Okay, so what it has done is it has generated a report for us. এখানে আপনাকে দেখাচ্ছে যে verdict কি এখন দেখাচ্ছে যে আপনি bottom line because of 80 points you're still 30 points above the cutoff. তারপর আপনাকে next practical step দেখাচ্ছে যে what would be the easiest step for you to get more points, which is getting NAATI credentialed. It gives you wider market as well. So wider market আপনি just আপনার occupation না অন্যান্য occupation দেখতে পারবেন যে কোন occupation এ এখন কিরকম ডিমান্ড এন্ড কিরকম ইনভিটেশন আসছে. It's also divided into different states as well. So just because আপনি এখন ভিক্টোরিয়াতে doesn't mean you can't go to a different state, right? So আপনি
জি।
চাইলে এখান থেকেই আপনি অন্যান্য জায়গায় দেখতে পারবেন যে অন্য কোন স্টেটে কিরকম ইনভিটেশন আসছে. All right, then at the bottom it gives you again practical next steps, and then you can also
Fardin, if you scroll
so
just a little bit here, sorry to cut you off.
mhm,
So
you're good.
অনেকের ক্ষেত্রে দেখা গেছে এরকম হয় যে you are waiting for the invitation for a long time, like দেখা গেছে 189 অথবা 190 invitation wait করতেছেন, but you didn't really get it, right? So if you scroll down a little
জি।
bit, Fardin, there's a
Yeah.
yellow box. So you see that one
Yes.
that says employer sponsored pathway. So that means যে আপনি যেই skill occupation এ skill assessment নিয়েছেন, that is eligible for 482 অথবা 186, which could be a plan B for you. So these are
Yeah.
the kind of
Yes.
stuff we are trying to help out people with, যে আপনি 190 পাচ্ছেন না অথবা 189 পাচ্ছেন না, রিসেন্ট বাজেটে দেখা গেল যে আবার আপনার সিট কমায় দিছে বা বাড়ায় দিছে. So what could be a plan B? So we're trying to help out people with these kind of questions, যে I can go for employer sponsorship, I can get a temporary visa from my employer, this kind of stuff, really helpful, you know?
No, this is a very good touch. I must admit, this is a very good touch. যে হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে আপনার অকুপেশনটা শুধু যে 189 190 491 এর লিস্টে আছে তা না, এটা কোর স্কিল অকুপেশন লিস্ট উইচ ইজ CSOL ওই লিস্টেও আছে। দ্যাট মিনস দ্যার ইজ এ গুড চান্স যে আমি যদি আমার এমপ্লয়ারের সাথে, যেটা ফারদিন ভাইয়ের একটা এক্সপিরিয়েন্স যেটা ছিল, যে যেহেতু হি ওয়াজ গুড অ্যাট কমিউনিকেশন, ওইখান থেকেই কিন্তু ওনার হি ওয়াজ ওয়ার্কিং অ্যাট দ্য ক্যাফে, রাইট? ওইখান থেকে কিন্তু
That's right.
জব অপরচুনিটি ক্রিয়েট হয়েছে। So there is nothing wrong if you're a very good devoted employee to have a chat with your employer, because yeah, Australia needs good employees, good people, right? If I'm not wrong, Asif bhaiya bolechilen je COVID er shomoy you got supported by your employer, which allowed you to stay for 4 more years. So yeah, if your occupation is in that list, please make sure that you have a good relationship with your employer, good communication skill, and don't be shy to ask, because you will not get it unless you ask for it.
Absolutely. There's a saying that closed mouths don't get fed.
If you never try, you will
Perfect.
We
never know.
Perfectly
always
said.
You miss
That's right.
100% of the shots you don't take.
are we just
Perfect.
quoting now everything?
Yeah, the same thing, different quotes.
The quote bombing is going on now. But
So that's
yeah.
kind of like a summarized version of how the app works. We are still obviously working on it every day. There will be more enhancements released as soon as they're ready. What we are trying to achieve from this platform is our vision in the future is that this is going to be the only app a student needs since the day
Makes sense.
they come to Australia and till their end of the journey. Now, that could be leaving Australia or it could be becoming a permanent resident in Australia, but we want to be the very only app that you require throughout the whole journey.
Perfect. Perfect. This is a very good, step from you guys. Obviously, like I said at the beginning, যেটা আপনাদের পেইন পয়েন্ট থেকেই আসছে। হ্যাঁ, যখন আমরা এসেছিলাম ব্যাক ইন 2009, আই নো ইউ গাইজ উইল সে ওল্ড টাইমার, ডায়নোসর্স, বাট আমাদের সময় আসলে এত কমপ্লিকেশন বা এত বেশি পাথ হয়েছিল না। আমরা জানতাম যে উই উইল নিড টু ফিনিশ আওয়ার এডুকেশন, উই নিড a good English, we need some work experience, and definitely we'll get our PR. I mean, there was some sort of uh, consistency, if I must want to say, in our pathway. So আমরা পড়ালেখা শেষ করেছি, নাটি দিয়েছি, পিটি দিয়েছি, worked as a tax accountant, and done and dusted, right? But it's not necessarily the case anymore. The competition is huge. So knowing beforehand is gonna be the key, because if I cannot prepare myself before, I will not be able to actually compete properly. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're also noticing this trend, right? When I came here in 2016, there was a big allocation for independent permanent residents. আর over time যেটা দেখছি যে ওই independent কোটাটা কমছে আর employer sponsored এর কোটাটা বাড়ছে over time. So আমাদের next focusটা হচ্ছে like focusing on getting students job ready. So we want to add more features to this product that makes you more employable, more professional, and more skilled.
Perfect. Thank you, Asif bhai, for bringing it up. Obviously, at the end of the day, শুরু তো আমরা বলেছি, আপনারা এখন বললেন যে এই জিনিসটা, ক্যারিয়ার নিডস টু বি রিয়েলি ফোকাসড। আমরা সবাই মনে করি যে অস্ট্রেলিয়া আসলাম, কোনো রকম একটু পড়লাম, ক্যারিয়ার হলো না। I mean, if you don't really have a good career, don't really expect to be in Australia in the long term, because you will suffer. You will suffer from every angle, from migration, from your life crisis, and everything will be there. I mean, life is very stressful here unless you really don't have a good job that you are happy at. Right now, আমি যে জিনিসটা আসলে জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাচ্ছিলাম, একটা যে ইমিগ্রেশনের যে পয়েন্ট সিস্টেম and everything, these things change, right? In the recent budget we already got to know that it will change. What will be the change? Will the current system be modified, or an entirely new system be introduced? We don't really know. Now, how do you guys plan on keeping up to date with these ever-changing immigration policies? Like, you don't even change the menu of a restaurant that much, the way immigration actually changes the rules, right? What's your plan actually?
I can answer that question. আমি তো যতটুকু শুনলাম যে probably from next year they could even scrap this whole point system, right? যে এখন আমাদের 100 পয়েন্ট আছে, এখন শুনলাম যে 300 পয়েন্টে একটা সিস্টেম ইন্ট্রোডিউস করবে and all that stuff. So I don't really know. So based on whatever they do, our plan is to stay on top of the game and just introduce, whatever is introduced by the Home Affairs, our website, and we're going to update that. And the other thing is, as you said, the employer sponsorship is actually going to be a big thing for next couple of years, what I assume, because এই বছর 30% বাড়াচ্ছে, হয়তো সামনে আরো বাড়াবে। So yeah, based on what Asif said, যে আমাদের ওই job ready প্রোগ্রামটা, that's actually going to help out people to actually sort of link with the potential jobs based on what they study. That's actually going to help us students to find a job and potentially find employers as well, যারা যেখান থেকে তারা sponsorshipটা পেতে পারে। Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, why does the migration program exist? It exists so people come in, they get jobs, they pay taxes, and they fill up the Australian government's bank accounts, right? And that is used for infrastructure and population development in this country. So migration program at যতই change হোক, ultimately the focus is always going to be to get people in, get them employed, and get taxes from them. Like, I'm oversimplifying, but that's going to be the goal, right? So as long
That's
as
right.
we keep our focus on getting people job ready, I think no matter what happens to the migration program, we'll be okay. We'll be able to give value to people who use our product, and that's basically the goal we're going for here.
Good, good, good. I think on that note, Asif bhai, I have got one idea for you right now. Like when we started, you said how they actually use keywords to filter out resumes. If you guys can, add some sort of tutorials or guides, step-by-step guides of how to prepare that kind of resumes with live example as well in your platform, that can get them started quite confidently, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's actually one of our main focuses. Our next focus is to be able, it's for people to be able to upload their resumes and us to give them feedback on their resumes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Asif bhai. Anything else from your side, Fardin bhai, maybe?
No, I think both of them have covered pretty much everything.
Perfect, perfect. I think then, thank you guys for showing this amazing product to all of us. Jara amra viewer achi. Please jump into their app, sortedout.app, right? If I'm not wrong. But
That's
I
right.
will definitely put the link of the app within this video. Jump into the app, check out your possibility. These guys are doing an amazing job. You have no idea how difficult it is to get the data from all the different sources and how easy they are trying to make it for you guys. Sign up, support them to make it better. Right? Any message from you guys to pass on to
Yeah, for sure.
future
So,
prospective Bangladeshi students?
as you said, Rashid bhai, guys, feel free to use this app. And if you think that there is any feature that you want to see for us to build in the next couple of days, just let us know in the comment section. Asif already mentioned it. I'm just putting it out there. We'll be very happy to consider it because still in the process of making new features. So yeah, anything from you guys, we'll appreciate it.
Perfect, perfect. Asif bhai, Fardin bhai, any last message for the viewers?
Asif, you want to go first?
No, I'm pretty covered, man.
You're pretty covered.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna just repeat a little bit of what Arnav just said. So once you guys have created the report, please feel free to use one of these emojis at the bottom. So you can click one of them and give us more feedback. If you want to give us more feedback, we will really appreciate any kind of feedback. Could be bad, could be good, doesn't matter. Feedback is feedback. We're gonna take that into account and we're gonna make decisions based on that. So please give us more feedback. And I'm just gonna finish it with saying we don't really know where immigration is going. The best thing you can do is try your best. Um, at least try to study something you will enjoy, even if something doesn't work out, and enjoy life, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's kind of exactly what I said to my youngest brother who plans to move here. He was asking me, he was telling me that he wants to study stats and finance. And I was like, okay, interesting thing to want to study. But his main question was like, does it guarantee permanent residency for him? And at the time, I just told him that it probably doesn't. Maybe study carpentry or something. But then later I thought about it, and that advice made no sense to me later. So if I were to revise my original advice, it is just study what you're passionate about, and you'll naturally be really good at it. And you'll obviously be a very good employee. And who knows, maybe later on you just start your own business in Australia But as long as you like study or do something you love, you'll be better than most people in that field.
Perfect. Nice message, bhai. I mean, I think Arnab bhai also gave the same message. Fardin bhai, Asif bhai, all of us, all of you guys have given the same message. From me as well, it's the same message. আমি একজন ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্ট হিসেবে এখানে আসা, went through the path like many of you are going through right now. Obviously, things were much simpler at our time, but then again, we also had less information and less tech support. Right? আমরা কখনো AI ইউজ করে কোনো কিছু লিখি নাই, আমাদের সময় এটা ছিলই না. So every resume we wrote was really custom made. Every cover letter we wrote was really custom made. I had one elder brother in Australia who said to me one thing that actually stuck with me forever. That is, looking for a full-time job is itself is a full-time job, right? These days you have AI and a lot of other things to help you map the keywords and stuff. We didn't have it, so we had that barrier, but we had other advantages. I'm pretty sure that you guys also have a lot of barriers. Like, you guys also faced a lot of barriers. You guys also found a lot of advantages, right? So whatever it is, there's no point blaming the time or anything. Study well, study passionately, study what you enjoy, focus on your career, because at the end of the day, that will remain with you, right? That's it. Thank you everyone for tuning in and thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks.
Thanks for having us, Rashid bhai.
Thanks for
No
having us.
worries, bye. No worries.